on the latest on the president's health and if we'll see a stimulus package before the election. Let's bring in our guest joining us now, Senator Dr. John Barrasso. He is the third-ranking Republican in the Senate and the Republican conference chair. We should have you. You should be a CNBC contributor. You got the doctor. You're there for the stimulus talks. So we maybe we don't need to have two guests. We just have you, Senator Barrasso. So let's start with, before we get to the stimulus, just talk about with what you know about physiology and everything else. What do you think's happening now with the president and his health? Given that he's had a pretty solid regimen of these drugs that seem to work or seem to have been proven to have some efficacy. Where do you think he stands now? You think is he out of the woods, or are we still worried for the next week?
Well, the president is a fighter, and I know all of us are looking forward to a quick and complete recovery for the president. It sure sounds like things are heading in the right direction. But as a doctor, I can say what it tells us is if the president of the United States can get coronavirus, any of us can. Testing is certainly much more available. 1 million tests probably will be done today, but there's still no replacement for the things that we need to do with socially distancing, with hygiene, and with masks. So I know everyone wishes the president well, and I bet he's going to be back on the campaign trail as quickly as the doctors allow him to do it.
The latest on the stimulus, Senator?
Well, there continue to be discussions, and I hope we can get to a solution. There are people that still need help, Joe. You know that all around the country. Republicans have put on the floor, and 52 of us voted in the Senate for something that's targeted to getting people back to work with paycheck protection loans, also to get kids back to school safely so they don't fall further behind, and specifically with fighting the virus and the vaccine. So there are things that we should do, and I hope that we can. However, that what Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are proposing goes way beyond what we need to do to fight coronavirus. I mean, one of the big sticking points in the discussion now is, and you and I have discussed this in the past, Joe, she wants to bring back these $600 a week, they call them enhanced unemployment benefits. I call them basically bonus checks on top of unemployment that people get at home. We need to get people back working. I'm in Wyoming. There are still help wanted signs all around. We can't go back to paying people more to stay home than they can make it work.
Andrew.
Senator, you just made a comment about the president, and it's a takeaway that I'm concerned some people are taking away, which is that if the president can get COVID, anybody can. Take politics out of this and just put your doctor hat on for a second, because clearly the president has suggested people don't have to wear masks, irrespective of the testing bubble around him. We know that wearing masks and being indoors with people without masks is considered otherwise irresponsible. Can you just speak to that? Because the reason that the president, it appears, and so many others caught this disease was because of practices that otherwise would not be encouraged around the country.
Well, the president is running the country and running for re-election, so it's no surprise that he's out and about with people. But as a doctor, I continue to say, as I have from the beginning, we need to do the things of social distancing, of hand washing, and of wearing masks. I have mine with me right now. So what we also need to know, and I believe we are putting this disease behind us. We're doing 1 million tests today. The medicines that people have now and the treatment is much better. The two of the medicines that the president has gotten, the dexamethasone and the remdesivir, if people showed up at the Wyoming Medical Center today with the same symptoms, they would get those medications. So the president is receiving that, plus the Regeneron that you talked about. He's getting top-level care. We can all do more to protect ourselves against the disease. Just having the test alone is not enough.
We're hearing, Doctor, that the president still, according to Chief of Staff Meadows, we're optimistic he's going to be able to return to the White House today. Reports that he did well overnight from Chief of Staff Meadows. At this point, do you think that Mark Meadows and the medical team at Walter Reed could have gotten more on the on the same page on how to present things. That was not the finest moment, was it? I mean, you always want to put on you don't want happy talk, though. You want to put on a positive face, but, you know, when you hear evasive answers about, well, he's not on oxygen this morning, he wasn't on, you know, it just, after, you know, everybody worrying about whether there'd be transparency, for that to happen just makes me wonder, you know, why they didn't, you know, get their story straight and give us the real scoop right from the beginning.
Well, I think you're right, Joe. In addition to people wanting a quick and complete recovery of the president, they also want clear, candid, and complete information and transparency about the president's health. That's only natural. Certainly members of Congress want it, and the American public wants it. So I'm expecting to get that and hope to get that today.
Well, do you think he should go back to the White House? I mean, they do have, obviously, it's not like going back to your own house from the hospital. I'm sure they have some, you know, they have equipment and staff that wouldn't be that different than probably the hospital setting. But if he goes home and goes back to the White House and then has to be readmitted, that wouldn't be great. Would you, as a doctor, would you suggest that he leaves Walter Reed today?
Well, I'm not going to second guess the doctors who are taking care of him. I've been to that unit where the president is. It is the perfect place for a president in terms of their recovery. They can certainly work. There's a great office set up to work. There's a place to rest. And there's opportunity to be monitored. Once the president and the doctors determine it's okay to go back to the White House, he's going to do that. I've traveled I've traveled overseas with the president. And he has more energy than most humans. You can see it with the tweets this morning. He wants to get back. He wants to get the great American comeback continuing with the momentum we have with the economy. As you mentioned, futures are up again today, heading to high numbers. The president is hands-on with this recovery, and he does the contrast of what's happening with what Joe Biden would talk about with a $4 trillion tax increase and new regulations, all of the things eliminating fossil fuel. We are really looking at two different visions of America, and that's why I think the president is so energized to go back to work and to make his case to the American people as we're just 4 weeks and 1 day away from Election Day.
All right, Senator Doctor, thank you. We appreciate it. Senator Barrasso, Wyoming. We'll see you. Melissa, thanks.